All right. So in a previous video, I shared the large metal box that I am going to be using for this heavy-duty portable power station project build. And I'll go ahead and leave links to that down in the description box below if you want to go check it out and start at the beginning. I'll probably make it into a playlist, so I'll just link up the playlist there. And then if you're watching this in the future, it should all come together into one little series. So most of the parts that I've been waiting for have started to arrive, and it's time to start the next steps in building out this large 24-volt DIY portable power station project I've been working on. All right, let's go ahead and get this stuff out of the boxes and check it all out. All right, so the focus of today's video is this 3,000 watt, 24 volt XWJNE pure sine wave inverter. So let's go over some of the specifications of this. I'm actually quite impressed by several things already that I was not aware of that this was going to have on it. So it's 24 volt, 120 volt AC output. And there was something I noticed here that was incorrect. It's a USB 3.0 18 watt port on the side over here, and a Type C PD 30 watt port is what it says here. But if you turn it around here, it's actually a USB-C 60 watt PD port, and there are a 24 watt Type A and two 18 watt Type A ports. Now, normally on an inverter, I don't really care about these USB ports because they're usually rather old, but this, I have a very interesting use for that, and we'll get into that a little bit later. It's got a GFCI socket here, and then if you wanted to wire to your own breaker panel, you can wire up here. You've got your on-off switch here, and this is where you would hook in your remote panel. So that's pretty cool. It's got a nice long cable here, and we are going to use that in this power station build. So I'll mount this in the front so that I can control the inverter on the inside without having to get directly to the inverter. And we're also going to be using this port here to wire up our own jacks on the front of our power station. We've got, I'm trying really hard not to short circuit this battery that they're sitting on. It's got these covers that go over your connections. They are in the middle. I prefer them generally on the sides so that they're nice and spread apart, but these do fit nice and snug. And it does have a ground wire that's always recommended, and that would go over here on this little ground lug, and you could wire it to in your van, so your frame or anything like that that you wanted to, and or not. It'll work without it, but it is highly recommended to go ahead and ground it. We're not going to be doing that today because this is just a temporary setup. Another thing that impressed me was usually the wires that come with an inverter are not up to snuff. And I do wish they were a hair bit bigger, but I do feel like these are acceptable. And that is one of the beauties of a 24 volt inverter versus a 12 volt. You can get by with the thinner wire. I've seen a lot of times they'll have a 3,000 watt inverter that's 12 volt and throw these kind of wires in there, and that's nothing but a fire hazard. Now, I would not recommend running 3,000 watts for hours and hours and hours on these cables, but they're 25 millimeter, which is equivalent to approximately 4 gauge. If you wanted to upgrade them, I always recommend the biggest wire you can do, but these are going to suffice for most people as long as you're not planning to really stress out your inverter. So what I've done here, I've taken two 12 volt batteries and I've wired them in series here, and we're not going to get really deeply into that, and we'll go over that. We'll go over that in the next video when I really put these batteries to the test as well as this inverter. Today we're just going to get it hooked up, check it out, and see how everything comes together, and maybe run a few small tests or whatever. And then the next video we're going to have a really big test to drain these batteries, do a capacity test on those, run this inverter to its max, and see what the whole system can kind of do before we get it installed into our power station, a big metal power station box. So let's go ahead and get this hooked up here. So we'll go ahead and pop these off here. You kind of got these little tabs here. It is a little difficult to get this off, but that's kind of a good thing. You don't want these popping off. Some of them, they clip on there so lightly that you walk by a stiff breeze and they blow off. So I do like that these are on here fairly securely here. We'll go ahead and start with our negative cable. And now these nuts here are 14 millimeter, and they even included a little wrench that's 14 millimeter on one side and 17 millimeter on the other. I mean, it's a pretty cheap wrench, and I wouldn't recommend using it for anything on a regular basis or anything, but it would be nice to have this inside the where your inverter is, so you always have one ready to go if something was to go wrong without having to waste one of your good wrenches having it laying around. So I'm going to go ahead and use a socket wrench with a 14 millimeter socket on there just because I have one and I find that easier to use. Go ahead and snug that up. And then what we're going to do, again, is back here is, so we have these wired in series, so this battery is connected to this battery, and then we're going to connect our inverter up to our negative of this battery and our positive of this battery, and that will make these two 12-volt batteries become 24 volt. I'll go ahead and do our positive side. A washer, lock washer, and our nut. And you want to make sure these are sticking out straight so that they can go over the top of these. And again, I'm going to use my socket wrench here. Go ahead and pop these over. They'll just snap right on there. And again, they're on there good and snug. I like that. So we have our negative hooked up here, coming to our negative, and then we're going to hook our positive up from our inverter. And before you make that final connection, I do recommend that you one of these resistors to pre-charge the capacitors that are inside of the inverter. It helps you avoid a shock. So let's go ahead and you just touch one end of this to the cable end here, the other end to the battery. Just a couple of seconds, maybe 5 seconds or something ought to do it. All right, so that ought to avoid any kind of sparks. Snug that up there. Snug, but not too snug. And now we have our switch over here. And we'll go ahead and turn that on. All right, so we got our screen here. All right, let's go ahead and hook up this remote and see how that looks. So it's just like a telephone cable or whatever. And in the bottom of your remote has a little plug here. And then the other side has, this is probably looks like 20 feet or so. And then on the other side, I can imagine a lot of young people have never seen a cord like this and don't know how it works. There's a little tab here. There's a little an extra divot at the bottom of this port here. That little tab pops into that port. It clips in there and holds nice and snugly. And now we have our little remote here, so we can power it off and power it on. And your switch does need to be on for this remote to work, to be able to control the off and on. It cannot be off and then control it. So we've got a backlight That just actually turns the screen off and on. And then there's 110 and 120 volt setting. What I find really awesome about this inverter, and I've personally never seen one that has this feature, unless it's a really high-end inverter, is that this has a soft start technology. And that a soft start for like an air conditioner on your RV would cost more than this inverter. So that is brilliant for starting up inductive loads, something with a motor and things like that that take a huge draw to get started. This is a fantastic option to have because it doesn't have such a demand for a surge. So power tools, again, that have a motor, a lot of refrigerators even, but especially an air conditioner is notoriously bad for starting up with a massive surge and then tripping your inverter. So it's beautiful that has that built into there. And it is running at 60 hertz, which is what we want here in North America. So it's a pretty sleek looking inverter if you like yellow. I'm not a super big fan of the yellow, but that's just kind of being a little bit petty about it because everything else about it is beautiful. It's got a good amount of weight to it. And one thing I wanted to show was this 65 watt port. One of the reasons I really like that is if I wanted to charge something else, a USB device, quickly off of this. Let's say I have this, this is a battery for my 12 volt refrigerator, and it has a 60 watt PD input port to be able to charge it. So I should be able to take a cable, as long as the cable supports 60 watts or better. This one supports up to 140 watts. I can just come in here, plug into that, and plug into my external battery. As you can see here, we got 59 watts coming in to our little battery here. So any kind of a device, 65 watts is really, that's the current standard in a lot of ways. So to have that built into an inverter, I really, really like that. Rather than having to have a whole brick and taking up an AC slot and all that sort of thing, just to have that level of output from your USB-C. So it's a modern, current, up-to-date inverter, not just some regurgitated old stuff. The other thing I think is really cool is the color scheme. There's a colorful display here. It's not just a simple monotone display. That's pretty cool. It does have a little lip here, so you can insert this into something and then screw it down through these little holes. There's little notches here you can punch out to screw it down to the plate, which is how we're going to be installing it when we get to that point. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show here is, as you can see, it is 26.4 volts on our battery. So the nominal voltage of these two lithium iron phosphate batteries, which are 12.8, is 26.4, and that's commonly referred to as 24 volt. All right, so I know that wasn't a really extensive video. I just wanted to make a quick video kind of showing that the parts started coming in, show you one piece at a time, go over the specs and that sort of thing of the parts that are going into it. In the next video, we're going to do a full capacity test of the inverter as well as these two 150 amp hour Bluetooth batteries. So if you're interested in seeing that video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. And I'll go ahead and link to the previous video of the box that I'm going to be using for this build. And I'll go ahead and drop that right here somewhere. And that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.